Hello and welcome to this After Effects tutorial about creating the like and subscribe elements that we see on YouTube channels. Now, I get it. You can download these from a myriad of places. You don't have to create them yourself. But I wanted to show you certain techniques that you can use, and then you can use for any call to action element. And I figured since like and subscribe is something that a lot of us use, it's a good example. So let's get to it. Here in After Effects, let's go ahead and import some files. So I'm just going to double click here, and I'm going to go to where I have the exercise files that you also can have if you download. So the link for these files is in the description of this video. And if you have downloaded these files in the past, these are new elements that I literally just added to the files. So go ahead and download them again. All right, so here we go. I'm going to go to Call to Action Elements, and I'm going to bring the document called thumbsup.psd. I'll import that, and I want to choose Composition, Retain Layer Sizes, and of course there are no layer styles in here, so I'm just going to go ahead and click OK. I'm going to double click this so that it opens in the timeline, and this is what I have. I'm going to make my composition just a tiny little bit bigger. So that's Control or Command K, and I'm just going to make it, just a tiny little bit bigger. Alrighty, so I don't know if you have seen the like icon on YouTube, but when you click on it, there's a little animation, all right? And that's what these layers are. So we have a thumbs white, then we have a teal, then purple, red, and finally black, right? So I just want to kind of sort of imitate this. It's not going to be exact, but it's going to be fast, and it's going to give it that little coolness to your animation. All right, so let's go ahead and do that. Now I'm going to move my playhead to about 5 frames, and you can decide how you want to do this. It could be shorter or longer, right? I'm going to select all the layers, and now Alt or Option right square bracket to make them all a little bit shorter. Okay, a lot shorter, 5 frames in fact. Now I'm going to press the letter T for opacity, and I'm going to keyframe all these guys, and I'm going to change the opacity to 0. And in fact, I messed up. I didn't mean to do it to the black thumbs up. That one is going to stay visible throughout. All right, so now I'm going to move the playhead to the beginning, and I'm going to change the opacity of all of these guys to 100, all right? So we have 100 going to 0 in about 5 frames. Well, exactly 5 frames. All right, now I'm going to select all of these guys, and I'm going to stack them. In other words, sequence them. So if you remember, the sequencing of the layers is actually going to follow the selection order. So I want to start with the thumbs up white, then the teal, then purple, then red, and then finally black. So I can right click, go to Keyframe Assistant, Sequence Layers. I'm not going to overlap. I'll just click OK. With my layers still selected and my playhead at the beginning, I'm going to press Alt, Option on the Mac, left square bracket. And now I'm going to go to the end of the composition, and I'll do the same, Alt or Option, right square bracket. And this is now what I have. So my thumbs are just going from white to black, passing through teal, purple, red, and then finally the black. All right? Now I'm going to select all of these layers, and I'm going to pre-compose it. So Shift, Control, or Command C. Make sure you move all of the attributes into the new composition, and I'm going to call this Thumbs Animated, and click OK. And then, of course, I have a single image. I'm going to change the anchor point here to the bottom left. And that's good enough. And now I'm going to keyframe two things. So I'm going to keyframe scale and I'm going to keyframe rotation. So I'm going to start here on both of them. Just going to move about 5 frames or so. I did 6 this time. And now I'm going to rotate to yay. And I'm going to change the height and the width a little bit. And now I'm going to go back to what I have. So I'm going to reset. And this is what I have. And you know what? I'm actually going to have this start a tiny little bit later. So I'm just going to move all of those presets. You know what? That's pretty good. And there you go. I'm actually going to move this to where it turns black. And then this here. And then this here. And in fact, you know what? I'm going to copy these two and I'm going to paste them here, kind of sort of holding it there. And now I'm going to go and give it an easy ease. So animation, keyframe assistant, easy ease. You know what? That's not too bad. I'm going to make this last a little bit longer because I want it to like hold in there a tiny little bit and then, you know, come back down. All right, so this is pretty good. If you look at the YouTube one, there are these lines that appear really quickly, and I want to emulate that as well. All right, so I'm just going to create one line with my pen tool, and I'll do it here. So I'm just going to click and click, and now I have a straight line, and this one happens to be teal. I don't want it teal. I want it to be white. Right, so now I'm going to zoom in, and I'm going to move the anchor point of that layer to the bottom of that. And in fact, I'm going to kill the transparency grid so that you can see it a little bit better. And there it is, right? And I'm just going to keyframe this so that it starts invisible, so nothing, and then it just grows. All right, so I'm going to call this one white. And now I'm going to keyframe scale. So S for scale. I'll keyframe here, and the height is going to be 0, and of course it disappears. And then I think 5 frames is good. I'm just going to reset it, and now I can select them all and then go animation, keyframe assistant, and easy ease. I think that's good. Boom. No, that's not working good. Why is that? Oh, that's because my anchor point is here. No, we can't have that. There you go. That's what I'm talking about. And I don't like it where it is, but that's irrelevant right now. So that's white. I need a teal, so Control Command D. I need a purple, I need a red, and I need a black. So the first one is white, then teal. Then the next one is going to be purple. I guess we can call it magenta. Then red, and then finally black. And of course, to rename the layers, just select the layer and press Enter or Return, and then type in the new name, so it doesn't really matter. This one is already white. Let's go to teal. And teal is going to be somewhere around here. And that's good. And this one is going to be purple. Purple is good. And this one is going to be red. And there you go. And then finally, black is going to be black. All right, so I'm just going to move all the way here. And I'm just going to turn the transparency grid on so that we can see it a little bit better. I'm going to select all of these guys, and I'm going to press P for position, and of course, Shift R for rotation. All right, so I'm just going to position them here. I'm going to select the black one. Oops, didn't mean to resize you. No. And red, and purple is good there, and teal is good here, and then white is good here. And you know what? That's pretty good. So I guess I didn't need the position. So R for rotation, right? And I'm going to start with the white. I want to put it somewhere around here. Then the teal, just a little bit. Then purple is good. Then red, I'm going to rotate it like yay. And then finally black, I'm going to rotate it like yay. And you know what? They don't need to be perfect because they're going to be kind of fast. I need for this composition to be a little bit bigger. So I'm just going to go to composition settings. I'm just going to change the height to a little bit taller. And that's it. You know, that's pretty good. That way I can move this guy higher. I'm just saying. All right, so now I'm just going to make these guys a little bit sequencing. And yes, I could have sequenced the layers, but quite frankly, this is so easy. And, oh, I don't like that. I do not like that. So I'm going to move the hand down, you know, so P for position. I'm just going to move it here and here. All right, let's see how that looks now. Yeah. So once it starts coming down, I'm going to select all of these guys and I'm going to end those layers there. So with all of them selected, Alt or Option, right square bracket, and now this is what I have. And that's pretty good. And the black can stay there for a little bit, you know, it doesn't really matter. So this is the thumbs up. All right, so now I'm going to import two other files, which are like and liked. So like and liked. So I'll import both, and I'm going to create a composition with both of them. And single composition is good, and there it is, right? Now I'm just going to make this a little bit bigger. So composition, composition settings. I'll make it wider, and I'll make it taller. And that's pretty good, right? Now I'm going to bring thumbs up and put it here. All right, so thumbs up is for scale. And I think this is pretty good. And we can move the anchor point, but I don't think it's necessary. And this is what we have. This is what I have. Boom. There you go. All right. And that's pretty good. I have not put the mouse cursor in yet because that's going to go a little bit later. But I am going to put the sound. So right when it goes like, when it starts moving, so it starts white, right? Then it clicks, boom. All right. And you know what? I think I want to hold it on the white a little bit. So let's go ahead and do that. With the layer selected, go to Layer, Time, Enable Time Remapping. And we are going to hold the white for a good 15 frames. All right, so I'm just going to change this back to 0. And there you go. There you go. So the click is really going to happen here. And that's where I want the sound. So go ahead and import another file from Audio Files, and it's just called Mouse Click. Let's go ahead and click on Import, place it in the timeline, and let's look at the waveforms. You can clearly see where the click occurs, and that's, I'm just going to move this here. I guess I need my selection tool, huh? And there you go, and this is what I have now. Maybe a little bit earlier, huh? And I'm digging that, all right? So this is the like, all right? So the like, I'm going to create a folder here, and I'm going to call it Finished Elements. And I'm going to drag like there. I'm going to put all of the ingredients. So everything that is not the finished element, I'm just going to put it here. All right. So like we have. Now, let's go ahead and do subscribe. So call to action elements, here's subscribe, and there's subscribed. And here we go. Import. And let's create a composition with that, and no overlapping, no nothing. I'm going to make this composition larger. Control or Command K. And let's just do it like yay. All right. Now, I'm going to click on subscribe. I'm going to make subscribed invisible. And here we go. I'm going to bring in the audio again, the mouse click. And again, I want to see where the audio waveforms are. I'm going to put them here. And this is where the click will occur. I'm just going to drag a marker there. All right? That way I know. So in here, we are going to now add 2 keyframes, well, more than 2, 3 keyframes to this layer. And they will be for position. I'm going to keyframe it there. I'm going to go up 2 frames. And now I'm going to keyframe again. And now this is going to be 3 pixels down, 1, 2, 3, and 3 pixels to the left, 1, 2, 3. All right? And now in here, I'm going to copy this guy and paste it there. And this is what I have. And that's exactly what I want. I want it to move. And that will coincide with a mouse doing the same thing. All right? At this point in time, this layer is going to end. All right? So Alt Option right black bracket. And then the other one will start. So Alt Option left bracket. And this is what we have. It helps if I make it visible. Let me play it again. There you go. All right. So we already have subscribe. And I'm going to put that into the finished elements. And there you go. All right. About the last thing that I have is the notifications. And you can see the notifications are the same as the subscribed. And I have it here in my ingredients. So subscribed, I'm going to create a new comp. And I'm simply going to call that comp bell. All right. And this is going to be a little bit different than the other one that we have. I'm going to take it out of the folder. And here we go. So when we hit on the notification, right? The bell is just going to ring. Ding, ding, whatever, right? So I'm going to do that at around 1 second. It doesn't really matter when we do it, but 1 second is good. And at this point, I'm going to duplicate the layer, and I'm going to call this one bell and bell only, and I'm going to mask it. All right? So there you go. That is the bell. And if I solo that layer, you see it right here. And let me get rid of the transparency grid. And now I'm going to move this anchor point to where I want for the bell to rotate. All right. So there you go. We have the bell. And now R for rotation. And in fact, you know what? I'm going to go back to the ingredients and I'm going to go to mouse click. I want to see the audio again and the waveforms, and I'm going to go back to my selection tool, and this is what's going to happen. So I'm going to put it right here, and I'm also going to drag a marker there because I know that's where the mouse needs to click. All right? All right. So now that this is in there, I'm going to keyframe rotation. I'm going to go back a couple of frames, page up, keyframe rotation again. And now I'm going to make it coincide with the other one. And there you go. So all I have to do is modify this one here. And I'll go like, yay. I'm going to zoom in the timeline. So yay, yay. And now animation, keyframe assistant, easy ease. I'll zoom out and let's see what this looks like. You know what? A little bit fast. I'm going to make it a little bit slower. Yes, I like that a heck of a lot more. All right, let me not solo this and let's see if we see the underneath bell. And we kind of sort of do, see it? Okay, so I'm gonna make this invisible. I'm gonna solo the bottom one. And now I need to get rid of that subscribed. And now I'm going to grab the color from here. And now we can simply get rid of it here. I bet you thought you had to go to Photoshop to do this. No, you don't. And this is going to be constant, so we are good. And now I'm going to select UU. And see, this is like a little layer of paint. I'm just going to bring it all the way to the beginning. And this is what we have. So now I'm going to unsolo this. And our bell is belled. All right? So like, subscribe, notify, all of those things are already there. And I have my elements. Now I can create something. So I can create a new composition, and you know what? I'm going to leave it at 1920 by 1080, even though I know that a lot of you are delivering in Ultra HD or 4K, but it's okay. You know, 1920 by 1080, if you need to do it bigger, then just make the elements bigger. So it's not a big deal. And I'm just going to call this like and subscribe YouTube. YouTube is one word. There you go. Fabulous. And here we go. So now the finished elements, we can put them all in here. And I'm going to zoom in and here, like, and this is the subscribe. And actually, these two have to be in the same place. I will eyeball you. All right, and there you go. That's what I'm talking about. That's what I'm talking about. Okay, so I'm going to start with subscribe. And I'm just going to be showing that and listening to that. And because it's black, you know, I'm just going to go here. There you go. So right here where the marker is, that's where the mouse needs to click, where it says subscribe. All right. So I'm going to import the mouse cursor. Here it is. And I'm going to drag it to the timeline. All right. So here it is. It's going to click at that moment in time. So P for position, boom. All right. I'm going to go back a little bit. And in fact, I'm just going to go page up twice, and I'm going to keyframe it there. And then I'm going to keyframe the motion of the mouse. All right. So at this point, I can simply drag it like yay. And I can make it a little curvy like yay. And this is what I have so far. So at this point, my mouse cursor is going to go down 3. See how I'm on top of that third keyframe? 1, 2, 3, 1, 2, 3. And then I'm going to go page down 1, 2, 3, and I'm going to copy this guy and paste it. And this is what I have. So the subscribe comes a little bit too early. All right, so right here, boom. This is where this layer needs to disappear. So Alt, left bracket, and this one appears. All right, so here we go. I forgot I was soloing it. And I'm going to make the like invisible. Okay, why are you going over there? I'm going to delete that. Yeah, that's better. There you go. So now we have the like and subscribe. And now at this point in time, that mouse needs to click on that little bell. So I'm going to hold the position there. I'm going to go to the bell with the mouse cursor, right there. And now 1, 2, I think I will do that. In 1, 2, 1, 2, 1, 2, and then 1, 2, 1, 2. So I'm just going up and down. Instead of 3, I'm going 2 pixels down and to the right, and then I'm going 2 pixels left and up. And this is what I have, which should coincide with the clicks. And this is what I have so far. And then we're going to go to the like. All right, so subscribe, notification, and then like. And here we go. This is like. And in here, I'm going to do the same thing. Time, enable time remapping. And it is not until here that I want for that animation to start. So everything stays the same, right? Everything stays the same. And now I want it to last longer. So even after that. So subscribe, notification, and then here is where that mouse needs to move again. So here we go. I'm going to hold it in place until that. Just move a little bit. Move the mouse. And in fact, I think I need to move these left a tiny. Move the mouse. Right, and 1, 2, then 1, 2, 3. Oops, it helps if I have it selected. 1, 2, 3, 1, 2, 3, and then finally 1, 2, 3, 1, 2, 3. And let's see if that does it. A little fast. Right, so I'm going to move this to here. Oops, I meant to just move the keyframes and this to here. And there you go. It's moving a little too fast, so I'm going to move this keyframe here. Yeah. Yeah, I don't like that sound. So it's because it sped it up, right? So I'm going to go back to the mouse click. And I'm going to replace that mouse click with this mouse click. Maybe a little bit later. Yeah. And it's still moving a little too fast. And we're just going to slow it down. There you go. And this is not too bad. And this is what it looks on top of me. All right. So I'm not done yet. I want to show you one more call to action, right? Because this was just for YouTube. Let's go ahead and create a new composition. Let's call it CTA or call for action. And this time I'm going to kill the transparency grid. Let's just create a straight line here. And if you want it to really be straight, press and hold Shift as you click to the other side. I just use the pen tool. And I just want to make it red, and I want to make this, 10 pixels is good. And it doesn't really matter where the anchor point is. But out of habit, I'm just going to move it here to the middle. All right, I'm just going to call this line. Now I want to create a rectangle, so no stroke and a solid fill. And I want for the fill to be bright yellow. Let's go ahead and create a bright yellow line, a bright yellow rectangle here. All right, and you know what? I'm getting tired of the anchor point not being in the middle. So edit, preferences, general. If you're on a Mac, they are under After Effects Preferences General. And once it opens up, make sure that this is selected, Center Anchor Point in New Shape Layers. And now I want to center this one. So with the selection tool, the layer selected, press and hold Control, which is Command on the Mac, and then double click here, and then it centers. All right, so I just want to lower this. 1 pixel is good. Yeah. I'm going to call this Yellow Box 1. You know, it helps if I type it correctly. Yellow Box 1. Now I'm going to duplicate it. This one is going to be Yellow Box 2, and it is by default. And I just want to put it here. And in fact, I want for Yellow Box 2 to be a little bit wider. And that's good, right? So now I'm going to have some text. I'm just going to type here the word questions, all caps. And I like Verdana. I think I've said it before, you know, I am a Verdana girl. I'm going to do this, make it black, make this a little bit larger, and then put it where I want to. There you go. So questions, I'm going to duplicate that layer. And now this is going to be for a phone number. So 555-123-4567, whatever, right? And, you know, if you want to do the parentheses, we can absolutely do that. All right, so questions, 555-123-4567. All righty. So the questions and the yellow box, the first yellow box, we're going to pre-compose, right? So Shift Control C, Shift Command C, and we're going to call this questions, right? Move all attributes into the new composition. And then these two, we're going to pre-compose also, and we're going to call it phone number, all right? Duplicate questions and duplicate phone number. All right, so now you have 2 of each, but only 1 line. Now, we are going to toggle switches and modes, right? So click on this button here and see this questions. The mat is going to be layer 3 questions. And see the phone number, the mat is going to be the phone number. What this means is that the transparency for the lower questions layer is going to be determined by the pixels in the upper questions layer, and the same with the phone number. All right. So now we can animate. I'm going to animate the line. So for position, you know what? I want this to come like at 1.5 seconds. I'm going to keyframe it here, and now the line is going to move left, and there it is. Right click, keyframe assistant, easy ease. All right, so this is what I have so far. The line comes in. All right, at this point in time, I want for both my questions, the lower question and the lower phone number, to have their positions where they need to be. And now I'm going to back up. The questions is going to grow from underneath, so I'm just going to move it down. The phone number is going to come from above, so I'm just going to move it up. I'm going to select both of these, right-click, keyframe assistant, easy ease, and this is my call to action. Not too bad, right? Okay, this brings us to the end of this tutorial about doing the YouTube like and subscribe, and of course, a very simple call to action. Thank you for joining me. Hit like and subscribe if you like this video. And hey, thanks again. See you next time.